Our environmental finance program is trying to create innovative financial products that help us manage climate risk. We are dealing with climate data, and now we have all these data science tools such as machine learning, artificial intelligence. So if you put together all these things with mathematics and modeling, the environmental sciences, modeling the climate data, this is a completely new field. Environmental finance, all these subjects, parametric insurance is new. I mean, it's growing. The sky is the limit in putting together all these ingenious financial instruments that they can deal with any of those.
Hi, welcome to Opportunity Miami. Today we're fortunate to have with us Enrique Villamor, Associate Director of Environmental Finance and Risk Management at the Institute of Environment at Florida International University. Welcome to Opportunity Miami. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Florida, and especially Miami, is often seen as ground zero for climate risk. How is FIU really working to shift that perception from vulnerability to leadership?
Well, I mean, there are several programs going on at FIU that they are trying to address these issues. More specifically, I mean, we have what is called the Institute of Environment, which is one of the preeminent programs at FIU. And it's an interdisciplinary institute. There are people from all these different departments: earth and environment, biology, environmental engineering. There are people doing the data science, but mathematics, statistics, finance. And the whole purpose of the institute is to deal with climate risk and climate problems that we're having here in Miami.
What are the specific kinds of problems that the Institute is trying to solve, and what really is environmental finance and risk management?
Well, I mean, the Institute is dealing with, for instance, sea level rise, right? I mean, and more recently they get funded by NOAA, right? And they got a big grant in trying to see water intrusion, right? I mean, which is a big problem with the sea level rise. And they have a whole bunch of different projects going on, coastal resilience and things like that. But our environmental finance program is trying to create innovative financial products that help us manage climate risk, right? So, for instance, green bonds or weather derivatives, catastrophe bonds, ingenious types of insurance, such as parametric insurance, they help with the risk management for catastrophes in general.
As I think about it that I guess traditional financial models or traditional financial approaches haven't really caught up with the innovations needed yet to kind of fund it in the traditional way. Would you say that's true, or would you say, and that this is a solution to kind of address those financing gaps, or would you say that this is from a perspective like this is a solution for long-term infrastructure as well?
It is a solution for long term, and it's basically based on being able to analyze data, right? I mean, in the case of environmental finance, we are dealing with climate data, and now we have all these data science tools such as machine learning, artificial intelligence. So if you put together all these things with mathematics and modeling and, the environmental sciences, modeling the climate data, the sky is the limit in putting together all these ingenious financial instruments that they can deal with any of those.
I mean, the beauty of it is that you've got a bunch of data, so you're collecting and you're analyzing data. You've got an interdisciplinary team tackling it, and then you've got the added benefit of the power of quantum and AI to layer on top of that. So that really opens up a variety of opportunities, I would imagine.
Exactly. Yes. And that's the key, interdisciplinarity, right? I mean, you're working with people in finance who might be more qualitative in nature, but then there is a whole field in what is called mathematical finance, financial engineering, which is trying to make finance more quantitative in nature, right? I mean, in all aspects of finance, when you're putting together portfolios and things like that. So, I mean, the mathematics, the data science machinery gives you so much power to, quantify risk and hedge that risk in creating any type of financial instrument, no matter which particular problem you're dealing with.
Yeah, can you speak a little bit to the implications of, of better pricing of environmental risk on things like insurance, real estate, and infrastructure?
Yeah, down here in Florida, we just recently have Hurricane Melissa that, devastated many of the Caribbean islands. So we are working in this field of environmental finance. One of the big things is working with insurance, catastrophe bonds. So for instance, in FIU, we are within our program, we are trying to look at parametric insurance products, yes. Right? And one of the problems with the parametric insurance products is what is called basis risk. So that, the amount that you get is close to the actual losses that you get, absolutely. Right? We are working really hard in trying to reduce that basis risk. And once you do that, what basically happens is that this new type of insurance, parametric insurance, it can be customized to the needs of the people. And it could be governments, it could be individual people, companies, etc. And what happens is that once the event happens and it triggers the payment of the parametric insurance, yes. It happens right away, and the people that they have been devastated by this catastrophe, they will get a payment so that they can start rebuilding. So, for instance, to give you an example, there is what is called the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Company. Okay. It's a consortium of Caribbean islands that they put together this company, and they buy this type of insurance. So, for instance, I was just talking to one of the officers in that company, and they said that they are getting about 70 or 80 million payment from one of the parametric insurance products, so which is really good. It's just going to help them tremendously.
So you're talking about higher level of management and certainty around the risk. You're talking about the quicker ability to be able to deploy capital in order to be able to respond to these sorts of things. So those are pretty significant outcomes. What skills or mindsets are essential for the next wave of professionals that are going to tackle environmental risk? What are the things that they need to have, and how are you preparing them to have those skills?
I think that they need to have some quantitative skills. That's important, because in dealing with this climate risk, you have to look at data, and this is something that we are offering in our program at FIU, in the Environmental Finance and Risk Management program. We started a graduate certificate, in quantitative environmental finance, and it's a small certificate. It's just 3 classes in which we expose the students to the mathematics, data science, and statistics that they are needed to put together these financial products to manage climate risk. A second course in which we expose them to environmental climate data and how to model that data using some data science and machine learning and things like that. And finally, to wrap it up, the third course is a capstone case study, where the students they work on a case study where they integrate the previous 2 courses they took into solving a problem. Say that you have a company in the Midwest that is a farming company that is having some problems because their crops are being reduced because of the warming and stuff like that. So we tell the students, okay, here you have the data about this company, right? Their benefits have been decreasing. Their income is been decreasing, and they have losses, and how they can basically buy some insurance against those losses in terms of weather derivatives, and design, and what would be the price of that weather derivative so that they can hedge the risk, and that's. We have, we keep it at a level that because right now, we like those students to be knowledgeable about all these different things that you can do in this direction. What I believe is that more and more companies, they are going to need that kind of expertise.
That brings me to another question. Part of the thing is, when I went to school 30 years ago, this wasn't a field. This wasn't really a thing, not like it is now. What are the types of opportunities that are out there for young people that are interested in this kind of career in terms of jobs?
I think that they are tremendous. I mean, and these are new. This is a completely new field. I mean, environmental finance, all these subjects. Parametric insurance is new. I mean, it's growing. Any company you can think of, whether it is in hospitality, whether it's in, a cruise company, they are exposed to climate risk.
That's right.
More and more and more. So I would believe that, and I don't know, I don't have the data on that, but I would believe that many of those companies, they will start looking at hiring a climate risk officer or a climate risk person or a team of those people so that they deal, because it is good for their business. Like I said, I mean, those people are going to put together things in terms of insurance, whether derivatives or what else, that they are going to help them, reducing their losses. Or
people ask me, well, when we're recruiting companies, they say, what about all of this risk in terms of Miami? And what I often say to them is, those risks have always been there, but we've been active in building the infrastructure to combat it, whether it's in terms of building codes and other things. But we're not bearing. But what I also say is that everywhere around the globe, we're seeing a surge in these environmental, activities. And the places that are going to do the best are going to be the places that that actually confront it versus burying their head. Mm-hmm. So if we fast forward 10 years from now, for you, what does success look like for your program, and what are the things that you think that in terms of Miami, as we kind of traverse this climate landscape, will be success for our local community?
Well, I would think that in 10 years from now that we are much better prepared than what we are right now in all aspects. The governments, the companies, I mean, the people that they have, the homeowners that, for instance, I mean, one thing it would be going back to the parametric insurance thing. Right now, I mean, we all know that we all have a house, most of us, and you have to buy insurance. And the insurance is really expensive. For many people, they cannot afford it. This indemnity-based insurance where you have all these restrictions, the premiums are really high. So, I mean, I would say, it would be a big win for us if 10 years from now we have come up with a new type of insurance which is customized to the needs of the homeowners. The premiums are lower, and if something happens and there are losses, I mean, they automatically get money to cover those things, right? I mean, to start rebuilding or fixing their houses. I mean, that would be for once. And the other thing is that I think that going back to these things, I mean, here in South Florida, yes, I mean, we have better building costs, we're better prepared for a hurricane and stuff like that, but climate change is making us, we cannot avoid some of those things. No matter how good we build things, something is going to happen. We have flooding, we have things like that. So I think that in this field of environmental finance, you can create instruments for people, for those companies, that they cannot, no matter what they do, I mean, climate change is there, they cannot avoid those losses. So buying those financial instruments will help them hedge that risk. What can we do? I mean, we cannot build everything foolproof against all these disasters. So the best alternative could be to be prepared so that when it happens and there are some losses or some bad things happening, that we have some, we have money to coming from the payments from these financial instruments that we can rebuild, that we can start fixing the things that they were destroyed by those catastrophes, yes.